What is up? Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other two just do a bunch of stuff on draft day and day 2 and day 3. Fellas, we are here. You have ended your 7 hours of live stream. You're probably 15 hours of work behind the scene on the last 3 days, and then all the prep work and all the stuff that goes along with it. How relieved, Mike, are you that you no longer have to do any graphics, that you don't have to go and post it as fast as you possibly can? Just how are you right now?
I feel great. I'm happy it happened. I'm also happy it's over. But there might be some undrafted guys, so the work never stops for me.
Never stops. Absolutely killed it, both of you. Huge props to both of you. I had absolutely nothing to do with it. Usually I have something to do with something everywhere. No,
yeah, we're grinding, and this guy's over here on his working on his golf swing.
I was popping 250 at the range today, trying to figure out the swing. It didn't go well, but yeah, I was being a dad, being a dude. I'm on summer break. I'm not doing anything right now. I'm not working. This was your guys' moment, right? This was everything you guys do. Tyler, what was the coolest thing that you kind of found out while you're like posting all these clips and all these informations and digging into these guys?
I mean, I don't know where to start really, but I think one of the coolest things was just like day one, the entirety of it. Like all those guys in some way have either like their underdog story or like they're so far from being a complete product. And I don't know if that's something that you usually see with college players. So I think digging into those guys, like seeing Brecht, that he like caught like 8 passes as a freshman at Iowa, like a very solid football program. And now this dude is basically a first round pick. So like that whole group on day one, like all of them just cool stories, still maybe have a lot of room to grow. That I mean, there's like infinite little tidbits though that I'm sure we're gonna have pop up, but
absolutely
it's been a ride.
It's been a ride. I am coming into this completely blind and ignorant. I know the day one when I popped on with you guys, didn't have even time to do day 2, day 3 recaps or research on anything. So I'm going off of what you guys have. And if you are listening right now, you need to go to blakestreetbanter.com, go click on Tyler's complete draft recap thing. 6,000 words. What do we hit? 590,
almost 6,000.
Yeah, 5,000.
Could have juiced that out, but I figured I'd save the people some time.
let's do 6K. That gives us a bar, right? 6K next year in 2025 on the draft thing. But like in-depth analysis, like you will seriously, what Mike and Tyler did this week, these last 3 days, you will not find it anywhere, let alone especially in Rockies world. Like nobody did day 3 coverage like you did. Like huge props to you. So again, go support what these two did all week by just go checking out blakestreetbanter.com and finding that draft recap. Like it's insane. I'm going to make sure I pin it on our Twitter too. So go find our Twitter, Blake Street Banter, and it'll be right there on the pin tab. So
yeah, well, I want to give a quick shout out to Luke too.
Luke, yes, good call. Good call.
Day 2, like I was lost after like a couple rounds of day 2. That back end of day 2, it's really just Tyler and Luke just informing me on everything. So that was big.
Yeah, Luke just jumped in. Kind of, we didn't plan that until the day of. Like, oh yeah, how about you hop on the pod? Right before we're picked with the pick 38-42. By the end of it, it's like, yeah, you better be on the pod tomorrow for day 2 as well. And he was a huge help. Tons of just good energy, good knowledge. So yeah, definitely follow him. I mean, just follow him as a general baseball follow.
Yeah.
That dude made a top 600 big board for like all of this.
Insane work.
Yeah. So what I did is cool. What he's doing is also extremely, extremely cool. So yeah, Luke, shout out. Welcome to the team. I mean, it's not really a welcome at this point, but really glad to have you on board with us.
Just adding your guys' to the BSB has been just done wonders. And shout out again to Noah with the Charlie Blackman draft interview. Like, when was the last time you saw Charlie do an interview at all? And Noah got him for 20 minutes just to talk strictly draft. And you can tell Chuck was passionate about it. Like he digs the draft. He has his own crazy story, drafted 3 times. Once as a pitcher out of high school, once out of JUCO, and then maybe I'll play again, maybe I won't. And then getting drafted out of Georgia Tech. Like insane. Go check our YouTube. I'm going to drop that as a separate podcast as well sometime soon. So you can just listen to Chuck talk draft with Noah. Just insane. Huge shout outs to everybody. Like it was, again, I said it on this live stream. I was able just to sit back and enjoy watching you guys work and getting all the information from it. So Any more shout outs? Is that enough?
Let's go. KW and Patrick Lyons are big, so I'll shout them out too for the day one stuff.
Yes, hanging out for day one for what, an hour and a half?
Probably 2 hours, yeah.
Just being dogs, being dudes, and just talking ball. It's awesome. And yeah, Tyler has to give up his first morning, so
yeah,
it's a good day.
Yeah, I made a deal, and that deal came to be. So, but one more shout out is to Lewis. We tag team this thing. I remember in the years past, me and Aaron are like fumbling and freaking out trying to get like a video uploaded to Twitter and all this stuff. Like, how do we put these together? Like this year was, I mean, it was a lot of work, but there was really no second guessing any of it. It just really, everything was smooth. I had all these stats. I go on the Twitter, boom, that graphic was there like immediately. So
yeah, couple typos, but I think we made it a lot better than
I mean, I didn't even. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, typos are bound to happen in those things. Like
easily. Yeah. All right. Let's get into it. We're done shouting out. If you are listening, shout it to you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
Again, all the everybody.
Right. Just going down our 2,200 Twitter followers. Just going through all of it. So yeah, just thank you for being a BSB community. Like, I love what we've been able to create and continue to create and do things. But we got our guy, Charlie Condon. Like, when it all just kind of happened, just run into the stage. Charlie Condon, we're done. We got our guy. The highest drafted player out of the University of Georgia in program history, won the Golden Spikes Award, the Dick Hauser Trophy, the Bobby Bragan National Collegiate Slugger Award. Do we have the first baseman of the future? What, like, everybody's excited about him, what he brings, but obviously there's always those little things that you have to be worried about because there's going to be haters, Rhino, on the internet that's just not going to like the pick. So, Tyler, give us the quick breakdown. Hit that letter B right now, Mike, and go.
I mean, Charlie Condon, there's nothing wrong, period. That's all. Now, I was hoping to dig in and be like, here is like the weakness. I mean, I just don't know that there is one. The one thing that stands out is like not great is there, he swings at some pitches out of the zone, but when you make as much contact as he does, and when you just effortlessly hit balls out of the park, you're going to swing a little bit more. Like, that's the name of your game, is you are going to be a little bit more aggressive, trying to just rake all that stuff. Defensively, I like him defensively. I saw him a little bit last year going into this year and was like, hey, that dude is massive, but he looks like he knows what he's doing out there. There's like steps that need to be taken. This year, he played center field. I don't know if he's going to play any center field in the pros, but it shows he can handle the outfield very well. I think he can play third base too. Probably going to be an outfielder, though. I think that just makes everything a lot easier. Get him to the big leagues faster, but huge power, a lot of contact, makes contact everywhere in the zone, every pitch type, you name it. Find an error in his profile, tag me, I'll prove you wrong.
There's a rebuttal to it, right?
Yeah, kind of what Tyler was saying. Like, defensively, I feel like he gets just no credit. I mean, I think people think he's like this slugger, like almost like a Kyle Schwarber, where like you're getting negative value. But I think defensively, he can definitely stick in the corners. Third base is the question mark right now. But I think at minimum, you're getting a decent defender in the corner with, I mean, we could talk about the bat all day. It's an elite bat.
Yeah, and we'll save the where does he fit in and what do the Rockies do, like if he is an outfielder with all the outfielders that we have, blah, blah, blah. We'll save that for a later pod. Right now, we're just excited that we have Condon and like Sterling Thompson. They'll find a place. They'll figure out a way where to put him and all that. I mean, the fact that he can play center and third base it's going to work itself out, right? You're going to find a place for that bat. Would it be a disappointment? I know it's just said this. We'll put it on later. But what if he becomes a DH only type of bat, and we select him in the first round? Is that a big L? Are we even worried about that? Like, DH is a position now. Like, do these guys have to be able to play defense? Edgar Martinez didn't.
I think it'd be a pretty big L. Yeah. Like even at first base, I think it'd be a pretty big L. Like you do want to stash a bat like this at a position where you're not always getting hitting production. Like in theory, DH and first base, those should be some of your best hitters. The Rockies are a little different. Rocky land is a little bit different in that way. We haven't seen that huge production out of the DH spot or first base. So it's okay if he ends up there, but certainly not what you want. And again, I think people have kind of blanketed, like, because some of the kind of national media people are saying, where does he fit defensively? I just don't get that. I think he's an average defender in a corner outfield spot. So I don't think you even have to think about definitely not DH. First base maybe enters the fold at some point. If we want to stick to our Chris Bryant comp, 10 years in the future, he's playing first base maybe. But for now, I think he's a very solid corner outfielder, and that's going to be the plan going forward.
When does he make his Colorado Rockies debut, Mike?
I said next year when the rosters get expanded in September. I know you gave me some flack on that I said next year.
Yeah.
I look these guys are getting fast tracked like no other thing. Like if you draft a guy in the top 5 as a hitter, you want him in the majors as soon as possible. Get the value out of them as much as you can before you have to pay them. That's kind of the logic behind that. But I know like opening days are weird. You don't normally see someone like start the season opening day, but that works too for 2026.
Yeah, and we've seen some kind of fast tracking this year. It's been a little bit different this year in this last few years, like with Ezekiel Tovar, Brent Doyle. You're in, let's go. Granted, they've kind of been in the system for a while, but Adel Medor, Angel Javi, like we got some guys that are kind of been fast tracked, and Dollander is going to be a Rocky either in September and early next year. Like they're going to fast track some guys, and like why not do the Wyatt Langford thing and just like call him up and go with it? It's like, I mean, he led the nation in batting average and home runs in the SEC. I don't care if it's off 90 or 97. SEC led the nation batting average and home runs. So the kid can eat. Let him be a dog, and go from there. Anything else you want to add to the Bulldog, Charlie Condon?
I mean, I saw someone tweet that he has long arms, so he probably can't hit velocity, and it's like, let's not make assumptions, please. Because his let me pull it up real quick. His OPS against pitches 94 miles per hour faster. I'm gonna give you guys over under. What do you think? Like, just throw out a number. I'll tell you over under that.
His average?
OPS 94 faster.
I'm gonna go 990 OPS.
It was high. I think I saw that same tweet or saw something similar to it. It was high. 9. It was like 890, 920 or something.
I think you guys got to look double that pretty much. That's how crazy it is. Against pitches 94 and above, that's a pro level, that's above roughly the average, I guess, of a pro fastball. 1796 OPS. Like, let's stop making assumptions about this guy. You could tell, and I'm not trying to be all condescending and elitist. You can tell who has not really dug into the profile and is just saying things to be negative.
Yeah. It's easy. It's easy.
Well, it's not easy with Charlie Condon though. He's making it tough for people.
But it's easy. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It's easy to say stupid shit. So like people are gonna be dumb no matter what. It's okay to do some research or just listen to Blake Street Banter, and we'll get you on the right track. It's all right. All right. Steal of the draft, maybe. I don't know what any other team did. I'm only worried about the Rockies. I'll follow the Tigers stuff a little bit. But Brody Brecht with the number 38th pick. That was our competitive balance A pick out of Iowa, hits 102, 103. I think he hit 104 once, has a nasty slider. I see him as a future set of man closer reliever. I know he's a starter. Maybe he profiles as that down the road, but he fell to us, right? Like the guy that had 14.7 strikeouts per 9 innings and was in 7th in total strikeouts fell to the Colorado Rockies to the 38th pick. Right, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm going to do a little demonstration. We're going to act like my Xbox controller is my firstborn child, and I'm having to give it away. That's what it took to make this happen.
No NCAA for you. You don't get NCAA football. Maybe that is your firstborn.
It's gone. So we were talking about that way early after the pick. Like, what do you guys like? Patrick Lyons threw it out there. What do you think? Brody Brecht. Nobody thought there was a chance at that. Coming into the season, top 15. I think some outlets had him as a top 10 prospect coming into the season, and his numbers were good. Like, he had a 1-2-1 whip, which for a guy that has some control issues, that's certainly not bad. And I mean, he's striking out like 2 guys almost every inning. I'm pumped. I'm very pumped.
Yeah, right on there. Just because I have it ready. 178 innings pitched. Mike, how many strikeouts did he have in those 178 innings pitched?
I'm gonna go 320.
40 less, 281. Just insane.
I went out there then, so
yeah, and you weren't even that far off. Like, that's like an average almost 2, like you said. Like, that's in around 1.7 per 9. That's just per inning. That's just insane stuff. And he's from Iowa. He's an Iowa through and through. Played football for the Iowa Hawkeyes, whatever that is. Was perfect game in 2022, freshman All-American collegiate baseball, like Gatorade Player of the Year in 2021. 0.57 ERA in high school. Like, I don't care whether you're playing in Iowa or not. Allowing 0.5 ERA is insane. Like, how stoked are you, Mike, that we might have a guy to go with Dollander, Palmquist, Sullivan? Like, we got some of these guys that are big dogs, and you're kind of adding him right in there.
This kind of feels like Chase Dollander, right? It's like, why did he fell to us again? Like, Dollander was like a number 1 overall pick like 8 months before the draft, and Brody Brecht top 15. I think the ceiling is about as high as you can get for a college pitching prospect at pick 37 or whatever it was. Like, I mean, you said reliever, but like if he sticks as a starter and it works, I mean, he could really destroy the league. I gotta ask Tyler a question though. We talked about the control a little bit. What's the difference between him and Riley Pint? A little bit of a crazy question there, but like, where's the difference there, and why should I be very excited about the upside?
I mean, he did this in the Big Ten, which not like the best college conference, but all those power conferences. Like if you're getting work done there, you're getting work done at a really high level. So, I mean, he's certainly ready for the pros. I don't know if that's Riley Pint coming out of a Kansas high school. Much different level of competition. And then, Brody is also one of the most athletic players that will enter the Rockies organization. Like this dude, as a freshman, caught passes on the football team. Like in some of them were pretty impressive. Like he's one of those, I'm sure he's going to be like a weightlifting god in the baseball world. Like he is just a crazy athlete. So I really trust that he's going to understand like the mechanical stuff of this very soon. And frankly, the walk issues weren't that bad this year. 49 walks, 78.1 innings, like not what you want to see. That's like more than one per every other inning, but you can get by with that if you're also able to, consistently touch 100, 101. Riley Pint, we never really saw that in the minor leagues, even with Pint. Like he became like a mid upper 90s guy in the pros and was not having the most success throwing strikes. But Brecht, he's throwing 100 and also hanging on and then some in the Big Ten.
So, assuming Condon's number 1, where would you rank him in the system, Brody Brecht?
That we're gonna have to work through that exercise. It's tough. I would say between 5 and 7, though. I mean, I'm a huge upside guy, so for me, that's arguably like the best upside in the class, aside from Charlie Condon. Now, like
is this like a Mason Miller? Is that a good comp?
Honestly, it is. Like, I hope he ends up starting versus Mason Miller. But Mason Miller is showing where, like, okay, it's not the end of the world if a power pitcher ends up in the bullpen. God forbid you have a guy that is just unhittable coming out of the bullpen. But you do hope for him to stick in the rotation.
All right, and last little bit of him. What does he bring to the table? You mentioned the high, big fastball. The slider is wipeout. What does he have as number 3, number 4? What's he throwing out of the back pocket there?
Well, what's crazy, and they kind of joked about this on the draft broadcast. I think it was the ESPN one, that he should like almost just not even throw his fastball that much. Like it's kind of a weird fastball in that it doesn't have any of the metrics that teams are looking for out of like the modern fastball. But when you throw that hard, you're going to have a very good fastball. Guys are going to be able to catch up to it. He has a slider as his number 2 pitch, which some people have said is the best just pitch period in the draft. His slider super hard. It can get up to I think 92. I forget where it maxed out, but 92, consistently going to be upper 80s, and it just dives on hitters. So the slider is super good. Like the slider is already an MLB level pitch. Could go miss bats at the big league level. Then he's starting to work in this changeup, this split change that he needs to work on feel for it, but it looks really good and plays off of his fastball really well. So we know the Rockies are going to try and develop that, and it looks like another above average pitch. So the fastball is a little weird. I think that's something that needs to be talked about. Going to play, but it's kind of that steep fastball, high release point. He's throwing that ball kind of down versus a lot of teams now want to get guys low release point, throwing it more up. So just think about that. Try to conceptualize that. Works out for ground balls though. So that's kind of where I'll leave things with him for now.
All right, so we'll see that. We'll keep an eye on that. And then last little thing I want to add to it, just he tweeted the word "good," all capital letters, shortly after he was drafted, and it kind of screamed he's got that dog in him. And we got some guy to kind of confirm that and I guess in a interview on Sunday night with the Register, I'm assuming that's an Iowa paper, I definitely went later than what I was hoping for, but for me, that's all part of God's plan. I'm just using that as fuel and motivation to keep working and do even more. And this is a guy that is noted to be just kindness, humility, selflessness that stand out above everything else, is always supporting and encouraging others. So you got this nice guy, and then I'm assuming as soon as he drops into those lines, it's just, I'm going to eat you alive. And I'm all for that. Like he does have a little bit of dog in him in the highlights I've seen. I'm kind of excited about that. And give me a guy with a chip on his shoulder, and let's go prove the haters wrong. Put that guy on my team 100 out of 100.
If it was like, if he got like 25, like the 25th slot money, like it was an overslot. I think that'd be pretty funny. It's like good, but it's like he got 25th overall money.
Right. Still, whatever we need to wake up to and just drive the cog, right? All right. Jared Thomas, hit that B button. Round 2, the number 42 pick, /349, 435, 635 for the Texas Longhorns in his sophomore season. Just, I guess, who is he? Like, again, this is where my knowledge stops. I knew Brecht. I got that. And then all these other guys, I have no idea who they are. Who is Jared Thomas? And why should I be excited for this another infielder / outfielder / type guy?
I mean, he's a 5-tool player, more or less. I think that's a good way to start. All 5 tools are there. Pretty fast. I think looking at him, I was surprised to see he's got above average speed, which you're not really expecting that from maybe this first base type. He played there a lot for Texas. I think he's sort of like a, defensively, I kind of want to comp him to Mike Toglia, and not like, I mean, people think Mike Toglia is like Gold Glove defender at first base. I don't, whether that's true or not. I think Thomas played a lot of first base because he's just so athletic and was able to suck up, all kinds of difficult plays there. So he is more of an outfielder. He's a corner outfielder, going to be a good one at that. There's pretty legit power potential. That's sort of the thing. I think you guys both at some point might have said, like, is he kind of similar to Sterling Thompson? And in some ways, yes. Like Sterling Thompson was kind of a big dude coming into the pros and just hit a ton of line drives. Thomas elevates the baseball like crazy and could just use to add a little bit more power. And he's like 6'1", 190 or 6'2", 190 pounds. Looks like a skinny kid. So he's going to add that power. Pretty good bat to ball skills. And then again, there's good athleticism here. So he's a very, very rounded player. I'm reminded of Cole Carrick with this. Like on the surface, there's some things to be like, the chase rate's a little bit high, not a ton of power, but it's like the Rockies saw something with Carrick. I think it's something that they could develop. Exact same thing with Thomas.
Okay. Yeah. And you're speaking 18 for 18 in stolen bases on the season last year, 16 home runs, 4 triples. And that's in about 250 plate appearances at bat, 60 games. Was the freshman Big 12 in 2023, honorable mention, all Big 12, also that freshman year. So just, he's got some pedigree into him, like was the top ranked first baseman and number 24 overall out of Texas just 2-3 years ago. So he's got that pedigree to go along with him. I just, like we have with Condon, we have with Sterling Thompson, we have all these question marks of guys. And I know you don't draft for need, but like in my mind, my simple, very amateurish guy that just happens to be in a basement that gets to talk about baseball mind, it's why do we keep drafting these guys with so much what to do with type guys, right? Like we have Cole Carrick. Where's he going to play? Where's Sterling Thompson going to play? Just keep going down the road. Like why are we spending a second round pick on a guy like this? Again, no dog to Jared Thomas. I like the idea of him, but like, why aren't we taking a flyer like on a high school pitcher or something just kind of crazy outside of the box, high risk, high reward type thing? Like, do you have any insight on this, Mike? Like why?
I think with Thomas, I think he's athletically, I think you're not really worried about him just being a first baseman. And I think he's more or less a tweener, not like stuck to a spot. I think it does kind of hurt his stock a little bit where we don't really know where we're going to play him. I like the corner outfield for him, Cole Carrick's a little different. He can play everywhere, but like in a good way. I mean, with a guy like this, I think the only problem you're gonna have is like where is he gonna play? He's still pretty young. He's athletically gifted enough where I think we see the Padres. I always bring it up where they kind of just move guys that are athletic anywhere, and it just works out because they're that athletic. So with Jared Thomas, I think that's something that could just happen. Like he could just be like first baseman, sure, but corner outfield could also work probably.
Okay, and I don't know that lessens my nerves about it because you got Hunter Goodman, you got Michael Tolia, like that are at the big league squad. You got Nolan Jones going from third to outfield. You had Ulloa going from third to first. You have this whole Ryan McMahon played third base, second base, first base there for a second. Like he's
a different player though. He's at the plate, he's very different compared to those guys. Those guys are first basemen because they have power because you're kind of stuck with them at first base or you're stuck in that corner outfield, like kind of bad defender-ish area. With Jared Thomas, I think you have a good approach to the plate, and I think you have a good hit tool, and you have a frame that can build a lot of power. So you have a lot more potential for him to become a really toolsy player than I think the rest of those guys you just named.
Okay. Does he make your top 30 list?
Yeah.
He's pushing top 10. He's probably going to be just outside of it, like in the 11 to 13 range is probably where he ends up for me. And I want to throw out, because we're talking about the defensive stuff, I see a world where the Rockies try him in center field at the beginning of his pro career. I don't know that he lasts there, but that he played first base and center field this year for Texas, and wasn't some Brenton Doyle out there in center field, but held his own. So I think the goal might be to try to refine that a little bit, have him be that play all three outfield positions type of guy.
I could get on board with that. Jordan Beck 1.5 type thing. All right. I love it. All right. Let's go to day 2. Day 2 is brought to you by Daily Controls, our one and only sponsor. Actually, we kind of have another sponsor. Our boy Grant Hankins and I are working on something in the background, card collecting guru out there to our card of the day. But this is about Daily Controls. All of your automation needs, your button doesn't button, your blinker don't blink, anything you need to just make work. Call our boy Mr. Daly from Daily Controls LLC. Go ahead and send him an email, dailycontrol@dailycontrolsllc.com, or go check out his website, Daily Controls LLC. Just a dude that will travel to you wherever you need, wherever robot you need fixed, whatever arm you need help with. Mr. Daly has got you. All right. Round 3. Now, this is where I was excited about day 1. Like, again, loved Brecht. I love Condon. I'm sold on Thomas. Like, give me all that all day. Like, I feel like we're at a solid B plus. Tyler's probably giving him an A plus, just because he wants to. But day 2 gets a little weird, right? Like, we're always looking for that 1-hit, 2-hit guy. Like, all right, this is the guy, the Ryan Ritter, so to speak, the Carson Palmquist. Did we, just before we even get into rounds 3 through 10, did we kind of get that guy in day 2? Tyler, you go first.
It's tough to say. I mean, they started the day off well. Cole Messina, some people think he's the best catcher in the draft. I think he got a little bit underrated, not looped in with that top group of catchers. But, man, it's probably the best power from a catcher in this draft class. And then you also have this dude, teammates love him. That's what I've been able to really pick up. A leader behind the plate and in the clubhouse.
He's a South Carolina cat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jack Mahoney probably has some good words to speak of him.
I'm sure he's stoked that probably in Spokane next year, it'll be Mahoney pitching to Messina.
Oh, that'd be sick.
So he's a great teammate. And I know people, don't want to hear those kind of cop out intangible things, but leadership behind the plate matters. And I think that's going to allow him to be a solid catcher back there. His arm's not bad, but it's huge power. So I'm excited about that. I think we love Hunter Goodman. He's a great player. Hunter Goodman had some hit tool issues, and I'm not sure those same things are going to be there with Messina. I think he's a little bit more polished as a hitter. So I think Hunter Goodman may be a little bit more polished with the hit tool. So that's a pretty good player.
That I like that, and I absolutely love your Monster player. So that's good. Yeah. So on your power, Messina slugged 701 in the SEC, 19 doubles, 21 home runs, throw a triple in there, 50 walks to go along with that in 224 plate appearances, which is pretty solid. Like you're almost at the 20 clip there. All right. Led the team in batting and finished 7th in the SEC on base percentage. He was near 500 on base percentage. All right. So perfect game. Second team All-American by perfect game. Won the Johnny Bench Award, that best catcher of the year stuff right there. So they definitely got a gamer, and big bat Messina. We're gonna have to come up with a cool nickname for Big Mess.
I mean, I think they call him Moose. I'm not positive about that, but I'm pretty sure he gets some Moose nicknaming.
Yeah, I mean, thick.
He looks like he kind of has like the build of a moose.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to get in front of that guy.
he's going Yamo. So he's our boy. So be careful how you answer this question. So we got a few catchers in the system, right? And I you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of Drew Romo, Willie Mack, just because he's kind of up there, but it's like really Drew Romo and Braxton Fulford of the future. You can maybe throw in the Betancourt up in Spokane in there. Is Messina up above or below Fulford as we speak right now?
I mean, like today, like obviously Fulford has a couple years on him, probably cracks the big leagues at some point in the future. But I think when the Rockies sent this pick in, they are thinking this becomes the new guy that you might tandem with. Depending on how the lineup shakes out, you have the DH spot, potentially first base at certain days to slot the guy. So I think in the future, the plan is for him to be that. I mean, potentially even the primary catcher. That's getting bold. But I think that the plan would be that he is one of the catchers on the MLB roster in, say, 2 or 3 years.
The idea of having big power behind the plate, like that was what made Diaz so much fun a few years ago. Like there was just big power when he was hitting. Now he's just kind of an average hitter, not the big thumper that he kind of had like when he first came on the Colorado Rockies scene. Like give me Mike Zunino all day, every day. Like I don't even care. Like I would love to have that big thumper, right? Mike, who kind of stood out to you on day 2? Who was kind of your okay, that's the guy I'm watching these next few years?
I'm gonna go Connor Eaton. And George Mason University, if I'm not wrong.
6th round pick, Connor Eaton.
Yeah.
That's a K, so you know he's legit.
It's a Connor spelled very oddly, not the right way, but each their own. He actually DM'd us that he's a dog. He said, you got a dog. So like immediately that's got to be like my favorite pick in the draft. I mean, if I'm not wrong, he's got potential to stick as a starter, right, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, you don't find like watching him pitch is really fun because you could tell that he has a really athletic delivery. Like he's not throwing super hard now. I think there's a chance he throws harder, like a mid-90s lefty that has a couple promising secondaries. I mean, we're going to get into it. Like his command is a little bit spotty. I mean, we already talked about Brody Brecht, but the stuff and the athleticism from Eaton is really, really solid. And you can imagine him becoming a good pitcher. The Rockies are going to be looking with all these guys to try and refine that command. Pitching lab sessions maybe will help out there. So, yeah. But yeah, Connor Eaton, I'm a fan. I think he probably sticks in the rotation at least a couple of years. And he has to pitch himself out of the rotation, really, is what it's going to come down to.
Kind of goes along with that. Yeah, because, I mean, you're going to get people. You're going to get the haters, Tyler. The 5.66 ERA, like 62 innings, 39 earned runs. In his 3 seasons, had a 5.9 ERA and 105 innings pitched. Like, why are the Rockies 6th round pick selecting a guy that has this kind of ERA? But like, it's all about projectability, right? It's all about what's the ability. And like, maybe the Rockies kind of figured something out with Dollender. Like, all right, we can fix mechanics. We can work with what works for you. Again, you're getting big strike throwers and Carson Palmquist and Sean Sullivan, Zach Agnos. Like Zach Agnos wasn't a pitcher before he came here. He was a 2-way player. He threw a lot of strikes, but like he's a pitcher now. And that's a lot to do with Agnos, but there's also some part to do with Colorado Rockies doing something like that. And so like this entire day too, like we kind of talked about in the chat, was like, do all these pitchers just have command issues? Like what, like, is that the biggest gripe on all of them? And that makes me nervous again, as a casual, but like you kind of see some track records where it kind of, the Rockies might have a plan, which I know you hate to hear that, listener, but this isn't the Rockies from 5 years ago. This is a whole new system, a whole new squad. So kind of get on board with, all right, we can maybe do projects and work with those projects. So Connor Eaton with the K, he was born to be a pitcher, 6th round pick there from George Mason. Let's just do real quick on Blake Wright and LeBaron Johnson. I don't want to skip over anybody because I just feel like that's rude. So give me like a quick rundown, Tyler, on Blake Wright. Then Mike, you give me a rundown on LeBaron Johnson shortly after. So Blake Wright out of Clemson, round 4, infielder. Go.
Yeah, so the big thing at the top is that he was a senior this year, and with the way the draft works, seniors are hardly ever getting picked that highly in the draft, and when they are, it signals that guy is getting signed under slot. So this was a pick that at the time weren't sure how that was playing either for Condon and Brecht. Are they going way over slot? Are they going to get a guy, on later on day 2, day 3 that they can sign over slot? We'll have to see how the finances play out. But he was a senior, and I think that experience is pretty critical. Like, he is a polished player. He's ready to go in the pros. Makes a ton of contact, ton of elevated contact. Another theme. We're getting into the themes a little bit here. We're going to build those out. Ton of contact in the air, solid power, also some speed, and maybe a second baseman at the next level. I think they might try to develop him kind of at multiple positions, third base and second base. Those are his future homes, more or less. Like, he might end up sticking at one, but might end up, splitting time between the two. So really rounded, polished hitter joining the system.
Yeah, won the Mitchell Award, given to the team MVP for the Tigers there. Led the team in batting average, runs, hits, RBIs, 2-out RBIs, and total bases. And was a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award and the Dick Hauser Award. Pedigree up the wazoo there. All right, LeBaron Johnson Jr. Love that name. Give it to me, Mike.
Yeah, last year this guy was draft eligible, but he didn't get, I guess, the demands. He went right back to school, which is fine for us because now we got him in our system. But this is a guy who he has that fastball slider, mixes in a changeup. The one really worry for him is that fastball got hit a ton, like over 1,000 OPS against his fastball. Slider's great, though. His slider will be ready to play. Think like 60 grade fastball is what I'd put it as. And then changeup, low sample size, but was great. This is a guy that I think he's going to have to be consistent to be a starter. And I think he's going to start as a starter, and then he's got to be great to stay there. But I think as a bullpen arm, if he can get that fastball revved up, and it's sitting at like 94 to 95 right now, I think. So if you get that revved up a little bit, lower the OPS, he's definitely something struggling, whether it's the shape of the fastball. Maybe Tyler can answer that. Something just isn't working there. Maybe we can fix that. He can become a really good bullpen arm if starting doesn't work out.
Yeah. Do you know much about his fastball?
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's power there, and it's kind of the exact same thing as Brody Brecht. Higher release point, it gets really steep. And in today's game, I think unless you're designing a game plan around the steepness, which again, the Rockies, Brecht was their first pitcher, Johnson was their second. It's a common trait. I don't think that's by coincidence. Like, I think they were looking for this to build game plans around power fastballs that can get ground balls. It's not something that we really have seen much in the past. So we'll see. What the Rockies are the team for this kind of fastball. So maybe Texas wasn't game planning it quite right. But also I think command is a thing that really comes and goes with them. So if you're throwing a steep fastball downhill, that thing needs to be located. Otherwise there is the potential for damage.
Gonna get whacked, yeah. And even with everything you guys said, kind of his things to work on thing, he still increased his strikeouts from his freshman year to his sophomore year, his last year to the year before. He had 176 innings pitched, 203 strikeouts last year. The year before, 72 innings pitched, 84 strikeouts. In there, so like just nope, I'm completely wrong. I wish I could delete all that. That was his overall 176 strikeout innings pitched and 203 strikeouts in his whole college career. 84 strikeouts last year. So, Mike, you won't delete that. So that's just going to stay in there. Sorry. All right. Let's head to round 7 and round 8. I do not want to try to pronounce this name, so I'm going to let Tyler try to do it. But the best mustache in the whole draft goes to the guy out of Louisiana State. Was SEC first-year academic honor roll, transferred to LSU after 2 seasons at San Joaquin Delta College in Stockton, California. So the classic Paul Skeens route, going to go to a school and then transfer to LSU and then just get drafted and be a dog. So we got this go, Tyler.
So Fidel Ulloa is the guy. So that it was at first I had to listen to a sound, but that's what cleared that out for me. Was mainly a bullpen guy at LSU, but really interesting. This was a story that I didn't pick up until I was doing my write up. He went to the MLB draft league this summer, made 3 starts, did not allow a run in 15 innings. He struck out 19, walked 3. The draft league is good.
That's
like
good.
it's not SEC baseball, but there's a lot of good players in the draft league. And he went and dominated as a starter. So while he might look like a reliever on the surface, what he did at LSU was kind of messing with some things in the draft league, like started throwing a changeup a little bit, 2 different sliders, like more of a cutter and then more of a droppy slider. So there's a chance that he starts. It's a mid-90s fastball that's pretty explosive. It can get up to 97. It carries up in the zone. It's different than Johnson and Brecht's fastball. This one is the one that is flatter. It goes up in the zone. 479 OPS against his slider, though, is really the kicker. That thing can be really good. So it's 2 super usable pitches right now. So the floor as a reliever, the Rockies might have a plan to get him as a starter.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can never go wrong with just going starter, especially when you got this deadly slider. Like, if you can add another pitch or two to that slider, like, it's going to work out, especially at Colorado. Like that's kind of the theme there. All right, round 8, right-hand pitcher Luke Jewett out of UCLA. You know the Rockies love their UCLA products. Totally a Bashard.
Caros, teammate.
Who?
Cal Caros?
Caros. Yes, Kyle Caros. Yes. I heard Euros, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, nothing was clicking there. He was the opening day starter for the Bruins in 2024 after coming out of the bullpen his first 2 seasons. So bullpen experience turned starter. You see that a lot from college pitchers, so not too much to take away from that. But amongst qualifying Pac-12 pitchers, he ranked 9th and 10th in ERA. 9th in innings and 10th in ERA. So kind of got a dog there. What can you tell us about Luke there, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, this is a shockingly refined pitcher for the pick. You get a 5-pitch mix, good command. He's going to be a starter. It's really just like, what is the ceiling on this pick? I think he's going to dominate the California League. He's going to be like a Jace Kaminska where he puts like a 3 ERA up there and we're just all in awe of just like his talent. But this is shockingly refined, especially for the rest of the draft class. It's like a lot of power pitchers, and then we have Jewett, which is just like, there you go. This is a starting pitcher through and through.
Yeah, and he has experience. Cape Cod League, won an All-Star, got an All-Star nod there. He was ranked the number 7th right-hand pitcher in the state of California when he was coming out of college or towards college. Like we saw that with Michael Proshecki. He was the dog in Indiana, and like we know what that is. So just polished. I think that's the best way to probably announce the number 228 pick and Luke Jewett there out of UCLA. So we got 2 more from day 2. We got Tommy Hopfe, round 9, infielder, outfielder again. Fresno State, 19 doubles, 3 triples, 7 home runs, 45 RBIs, and a 408 OBP. But he was also making appearances on the hill. He pitched 17 innings for the Bulldogs there, led the team in batting and OBP. Did we get our first 2-way player that the Rockies are just going to go with it? Like, are they going to go the Zach Agnos route and make him pick one, Tyler? What are we doing with Tommy Hopfe?
Yeah, unfortunately, no pitching.
Dang.
I mean, he was their closer, I think, for all year. He had some saves. He can get, that fastball like 93, 94 at its peak. I just like that is put him in the outfield and let that arm play. They announced him as a first baseman, which I'm kind of like, no, like put him in the outfield. I love former 2-way players where you put them at a position where that arm can work.
Right.
So that's not really his tool though, because again, he might be a first baseman. The tool is elite contact ability from both sides of the plate as a switch hitter. That's a pretty rare kind of skill set to get. His zone contact rate overall 94.2%. Like that is elite. That is like hardly missing on pitches that are in the zone. Just really precise guy. Also some budding power there. The exit velocities are good. They're nothing special. He's not going to be a 20 home run guy, but he's going to make some impact with the bat. So really good contact from both sides, and certainly not kind of a softie. So Tommy Hopfe, hopefully he's in the outfield. That's really the hope there, is that he can play some corner outfield. I'd love to see that arm. Surprising speed too. He's a good athlete. So
Going with that, you're right. Is he our first switch hitter that we've drafted? I guess I didn't even think about that. We haven't been saying left hand, right hand at all during this.
yeah, this is the first and only switch hitter at the draft.
Okay,
so one of many now in the system, though.
Right, like they just keep adding kind of these switch hitters are there. All right, last but not least, round 10, Mike, number 288 overall, Fisher Jameson, 5-0 on the season, 3.99 ERA. 79 strikeouts out of Florida. So SEC pedigree. Looks like the Rockies just love that southeast corner down there by you. Tied for the team in lead in wins and was third in innings pitched and strikeouts. What can you tell me? What more can you tell me about Mr. Fisher here?
Yeah, I think we're looking at like a reliever role, which is weird because he's oddly polished. He got a 4-seamer. I like the 2-seamer more. He does both. The 2-seamer has a little bit more the drop action to it, I would say. Sits around 94, 95. And you have a slider that it's shaped very well. So there's a lot of like just potential there. I think you get him in Fresno. I think we've seen guys improve pitches a lot in Fresno. So if you get that slider to go up a little bit, just make it more dominant of a pitch, you can have a pretty good guy that can eat innings late.
There you go. Fisher Jameson out of Florida. That rounds out day 2 of the MLB draft 2024. Out of all those day 2 guys who, like you said, you're excited about Messina. You were excited about who was it?
Yeah.
Eaton. Who has kind of like the biggest upside, like kind of biggest risk, biggest reward? Kind of like what I was talking about earlier. Like, why aren't we doing more of this? But like, who kind of is that guy? Like, all right, this is the flyer that has that big potential that kind of maybe stands out to you, Tyler. First, like come to mind there, that day 2 pick.
I mean, I think of the upside, I had said Messina already. I think that's the biggest upside. But he's a 3rd-round pick. So when you're looking a little bit deeper, trying to dig deeper, LeBaron Johnson, there is a ton of upside there. I don't know how much of it is able to be reached, but it's a dude with a fastball that can hit 98, and he's got 2 dynamic secondary pitches. So if the Rockies can figure out some of the command there, optimize the fastball, you could have a like very legit starting pitching prospect and someone that breaks into the Rockies top 20.
All right. I like that. LeBaron Johnson Jr. out of Texas. Who'd you got, Mike?
That's a good question. I'm going to go Tommy Hopfe. Whenever you can get a 2-way player, there's going to be athleticism there. And he's got the good arm, of course. So I think I don't want him at first base. I want him outfield. I think there's good pop in his bat. So that's my pick. But you also got to look at the mustache on Ulloa is elite. So 80 out of 80 grade there. So I'll give him that.
Right. He's making a whole new category all by himself. And just hearing you guys talk, I think I'm going Blake Wright out of Clemson. I kind of dig the old school leadership senior. Like, you don't, that's just the intangibles. Like, as just again, amateur guy, like, I just give me that guy. You're going to get that at bat, that dog in him. You're going to give him all. He's going to give you his all. Give me Kyle Dodgers, Hunter Stovall on my team every single day. And kind of hearing you guys talk about it and reading about him right now, Blake Wright kind of is that for me right now at a Clemson. All right, day 3. So we're at 48 minutes. We were trying to shoot for an hour, but we gave too many shout outs. So it's going to go a little bit longer, y'all. So which none of you are upset. Like, you're listening to the best coverage in Rockies draft anywhere. So day 3, what were the rounds? We had round 11 through 20 here. A quick day. You guys were grinding behind the scenes. I know Mike was a little excited. He's like, yeah, I can just kind of relax a little bit. I can watch TV, get on the sticks a little bit, dominate some. Who's your team on NCAA football, Mike?
I'm New Mexico. I haven't really got to play a lot yet today. I was just watching TV. I know Tyler is. I know, like, he grinded today too. 6,000 words. I'm sure you got most of that out today. So.
Oh yeah, like you guys. I'm just assuming you guys haven't slept in 96 hours. Like that's the kind of work you guys have put in, and that's what we're going to tell everybody anyway. So day 3, it's just, and again, got to give all these guys their props. So we're going to do it quick. If there's any, let's give some of the guys that stand out to you the most, give their props first. One thing I was kind of excited about, there was a dude that was drafted out of my backyard, out of Western Michigan, Luke Thelen. Maybe I'll just talk about him real quick, read off the information I have. West Michigan, out of Caledonia, Michigan, again, suburb of the town I'm in, Grand Rapids. 21 years old, 2 saves for Western Michigan, 43 innings pitched, 58 strikeouts in those 43 innings pitched. Tied for team lead in appearances, was third in strikeouts, 50 appearances across the board, earned all academic, all MAC. Graduated with a degree in accountancy in December 20. So an early graduate. Dude's just smart. Played in summer league. Pitcher. Just Michigan's going to do West Michigan thing. So Luke Thelen, maybe you can give me a little bit more of the actual stuff that he brings to the table. Around 15 picks. So you know he's going to be grinding. He's going to be doing that work in Fresno at the ACL probably. Maybe give me more information about Luke and then give me your dog for day 3, Tyler.
Yeah, so Luke Thelen, the fastball touched 99 this year, and it's
okay, big.
It's certainly our pitch. 677 OPS against it. It misses some bats. And he has this kind of weird. It's a slider, but really looks like a curveball. It's super in between. Upper 70s, big time drop. That's an effective pitch. He's dabbled with a changeup a little bit, and we know the Rockies are going to try to get that going. But this was one of the more exciting relief prospects to come out of day 2. For me, the guy I'm most excited about is round 12, Everett Catlett out of Georgetown. 6'7" lefty. So already cool stuff. But I like the delivery. It's pretty clean and athletic. He's touched 96 with his fastball. I think there's hope to even get a little bit more. He's only thrown 106 innings in his collegiate career. That was it. Actually, I think he was technically a senior. So he was there for a while. A lot of injuries. This year, though, was the full healthy year, 77.2 innings. Really, really good stuff. Again, that power fastball and a wicked slider, 355 OPS against his slider. So I like him as a starter right away, but there is a very good chance he ends up as that deceptive lefty reliever with pretty good stuff.
Who's the tallest player in Rockies history? I'm sure he's not near that, but he's got to be.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if there's been a guy that's over 6'8". Like, I'm trying to think of who that would even be. Like, they've probably had 6'8", maybe 6'9" in the system, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, no idea.
I feel like that's a Mike thing, so I might get on that.
Yeah, that is a Mike thing. He was third in the Big East in ERA and tied for third in wins and finished 5th in strikeouts. And I mean, the Big East is a Power 5 conference, so you got some good competition out there. So if you're able to do any of that at any time, that's good. Everett Catlett out of Georgetown, round 12. And who's kind of the standout day 3 guy for you, Mike?
A little bit of a cop-out answer. I'm going to go Alan Espinal. It's still 11th round, so this is quality pick still. But catcher from Vanderbilt, and he's played a lot of games. I think 108 games he started in. 109, my bad. And he's got good pop in the bat, and he's got good arm strength. I think it's funny. We were seeing, this guy's got good pop in the bat. It really puts him, into perspective, Charlie Condon, when Condon, doubles these guys' OPS. But beyond, Alan Espinal, you got a good arm and a good bat, good power behind the plate. So I think this guy's going to be a really good player in the minors. Could he become a backup? He needs to polish his game a little more. I like the upside. You always need catchers, so that works.
Yeah, the real cool thing about he was born out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, but the cool thing was Enrique Bradfield Jr. came out and retweeted our tweet about him, just talking about his best friend, which just another moment to just kind of take it all in, that these kids are people. All these guys are actually trying to live their life and be dudes, be humans and all that kind of stuff. So when you have that support system, like Enrique Bradfield, he's a dog, he's in the Orioles system, he's always been a top guy. He comes out of his way to talk about his best friend. What he said in the quote tweet here is, tons of emotion seeing this. The most selfless individual I have ever been around, the most hardworking person I've ever been around, one of my best friends, and I am extremely proud of him. So you're going to high character. You're going to get a workhorse, I'm sure. A Vandy catcher has that pedigree, that notion on top of it. So Alan Espinal, the second catcher that they drafted, adding that depth to it. So that's just fun to see there. All right. So round 12. No, so Espinal was round 11. Everett Catlett, round 12. All right, let's hit up around 13. Justin Loer, 21 years old, team high 26 gains for Louisiana State, so another SEC product. He went to LSU after spending 2 years for Xavier, transferred over there. What can you tell me about Justin Loer here? from Minnesota.
Yeah, it's just another solid lefty. Like there's nothing special right now, but good slider and changeup. Those are solid pro ready pitches. He's got a fastball that's touched 93. That doesn't sound so exciting, but from the left side, if you have deception, and he's also one of the guys in this class that does extend well to the plate. So he might play a little bit more like a mid 90s guy. Like he's probably going to sit 90 to 91 more often, but it might play like 91, 92. And so that's going to allow him to be an effective relief type pitcher. I think that's going to be his role. Very limited sample that we got this year. So I don't know. The Rockies are certainly going to have more information than anybody else, and whether they want to start him or put him in the bullpen.
Right. And that's always weird for me to hear like people like you say, because he was a reliever pretty much his entire college career. Like he made one start, it looks like, for Xavier. I don't know what he did for LSU, but I mean, only 24 innings pitched, had a save, so 26 games. So I don't think he started at all. So when you're hearing things like Kate Denton, he had to choose starter or reliever, and he was the reliever of the year. So like it's so weird hearing like these relievers from college getting to choose starter, reliever, and see what they want to go, where they want to go from there. Next guy, round 14th, Mike, Sam Gerth. Was he our only non-college player kind of picked, like D1 player picked?
Yeah, he's the only non-NCAA guy. So that's D1, D2, and D3. But look at a JUCO guy. This is the closest thing to a high schooler we got all draft. 1 year removed from high school, so my age. There you go. Got that 1 year of college in him in JUCO. Wasn't a great year. 55 innings pitched, 6.47 ERA. Like, not great stuff. But this is a guy we don't have much data on because he was a JUCO guy and a high school guy. I feel like the Rockies might have looked at him last year during the process and liked what he had to offer. Maybe the money went down between last year and this year, so we were able to afford him. They have more data on this one. I know it's another cop out answer, but these JUCO guys and high schoolers, we don't really have much data on them other than the eye test or some gun readings. We don't know, you don't know spin rate or anything. I'm sure the Rockies know all that stuff, and I'm sure they have a plan with them, and they definitely know more than us.
Right. There's definitely some underlying thing, but he does have some pedigree where he came from. He is the highest draft pick out of Navarro Junior College since Chris Davis. Chris with a C was taken in 5th round in 2006. And he was also rated by Prep Baseball JUCO as the number 8 draft eligible player coming out of junior college. So we got the number 8 JUCO guy right there in the 14th round. So again,
and a couple of those guys end up transferring instead of getting drafted. So
right. So possibly the best possible guy out of JUCO, 19. So it has that college experience. So you kind of push him ahead. Like you don't have to worry about the high school part of it. He already knows how to be an adult, maybe type thing. We talked about Luke Thelen out of West Michigan, round 15. We got 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's do crash course. Kevin Fitzer, round 16, slashed 321, 429, 631, 11 home runs for Cal State Northridge. Also had 11 stolen bases over there. Played in the Northwoods League, which is one of the better summer college wood bat leagues around. Big West all academic team. What can you tell me about the outfielder Kevin Fitzer, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, just good all around. I think that's kind of just where you want to start this discussion and sort of leave it. Like everything is good, not great. There's some legit power there. He's fast, probably a left or right fielder. The contact and the approach, neither are great, but again, both are going to play in the pros. So for a round 16 pick, I would expect him to hit the ground running, kind of getting some Zach Kokoska vibes from the right side, maybe a little bit more athletic. I think that's definitely a good comp to be thinking about.
I like that. Yeah, earned 2 Gold Gloves in his prep career at his high school, Aliso Niguel High School. So he has some athleticism coming there with that glove there. Infielder Nolan Clifford, who showed out. He's got a support system. Round 17 out of Creighton. Hit slash 348, 469, 497 his senior season with Creighton. Drew 28 walks while only fanning just 33 times. So we got that nice little balance in walks to strikeouts, which I know you're a fan of, Mike. What else can you tell us about Nolan Clifford there?
Yeah, at the plate, you're looking at probably a hit over power guy by a good bit. You're not going to expect a lot of power. 98.8, 90th percentile EV. So you're not It's not popping off the bat, but he's able to get on base. He's gonna walk a little bit. He's gonna make a lot of contact. He's gonna be disciplined, stay within the zone. Defensively, this is where I get excited. He's a good athlete. He's got great speed and gets to first pretty quickly, can steal bases. But defensively, he's got the arm to play at short. And right now, the zone rating isn't great. Like he's not like elite right now defensively at short, but he's a good athlete and has the tools to really improve massively there. So we're looking at a defensive guy that can hit, draw walks, not a power guy, but he has speed to go along with all those tools. It's a great pick. To me, I mean, Tyler kind of sold me in his breakdown. That's all I got to say.
And you can go find that at BlakeStreetBanter.com or go find our pinned tweet on X, so to speak. Yeah, out of Illinois, played in Creighton and Omaha, so there's that other tie there. I still have one more tie to the draft picks here, which is crazy. 3 more to go. Tyler Hampu, round 18, 22 years old, played 2 seasons at Austin, PA State in Tennessee, appeared in 37 games for the Governors and struck out 75 through 56 innings, helped the team to an Atlantic Sun Conference title. So he's got that winning pedigree. I think he's Canadian too. What else can you tell me about Tyler Hampu, Tyler?
I mean, it's a real power arm. He's up to 98 with his fastball. There's good life there. It's a power slider that can hit 89. It was a bullpen. You can find the video of that in our breakdown. He basically hit 90 with his slider in a bullpen, which is kind of cool. And it misses so many bats. So he needs to find the zone more often. But this is another one of these guys where if the Rockies can clean some things up, you have the power to just really hit the ground running.
And just kind of go for it there. Yeah, love that. Nathan Blasick, round 19, number 558th pick overall, 23 years old, so one on the older side there. 24 games for the University of New Orleans, 2-2, 393 ERA, 40 strikeouts in his 34 innings of work. Led the team in ERA and appearances. Only allowed 1 home run, which is something really cool to see. Spent his first 2 seasons at West Virginia playing first base and outfield, but he was drafted as a right-hand pitcher out of the University of New Orleans. Mike, what peripherals you got for us?
Yeah, so right off the jump, you're going to see he has this like 3/4 slot, kind of funky type slot to really switch it up on hitters that are used to the norm. And then the fastball is really good at getting ground balls. We love that as Rockies fans. Scouts love it. They love the ground ball. Ground balls at Coors. And then we look at like the secondaries. You have a great curveball and changeup that I think could both be pro pitches. The slider is there. It definitely needs to be worked on, but you have at least 3 good pitches, and like at least he's going to be an intriguing relief guy.
I love that. There we go. And last but not least, Hunter Omlid, round 20. Now this is crazy. So again, the ties, right? He is from where my parents live. But I didn't know this until I'm reading this right now. He played basketball for Hamilton High School in Montana, as they did not sponsor baseball. He played local Legion baseball. And like, you can only get that in small town nowhere. Like, I didn't have a high school baseball team in Western Nebraska. That wasn't a thing. We had to play Legion ball. And Hamilton, Montana is like 4,000 people, small town in the middle of the mountains, not much to do out there. So no high school ball for Hunter Omlid. But the 24-year-old out of Arizona State, tied for 3rd in strikeouts for the team there. What can we expect out of the 20th rounder?
I mean, it's the highest spin rate on a breaking ball in the Rockies draft class. Like, obviously, I don't think that's a huge consideration for the Rockies, but it totally means something. Like, if he's spinning it up to 3,000 RPM, sometimes when you see breaking balls with that kind of a spin rate, it does the funky stuff in the air where you're like, that doesn't look like a human should be able to throw a pitch like that. So it gets a real sweepy movement on it. I think that the slider has a lot of potential. He's been up to 97 with a flatter approach angle on his fastball. So there's good relief potential here. I'm glad the Rockies got a guy who has a ton of experience and the tools to work with. Think of a lot of these pitchers as clay. They could make something out of it.
And if you're taking anything away from this pod for this last hour, is all of these pitchers are made of clay. The Rockies can mold them however they want. A lot of upside with them. A lot of them have something to work on. Most of them it's the command. Some of them need that 3rd, 4th pitch to go along with it, but they're all bringing something to the table. I would love to talk to Hunter Omlid about his college career because, man, like you said, Mike, in the chat. I'm just reading it now. That reminded me. Started at Boise State, who went defunct in baseball, and then had to
the year after. Yeah, I think he's the last eligible draftee from Boise State ever.
Because he played there in 2020, and then they didn't have a team in 2021, correct?
Nope, disbanded. So
it was gone. And then he had to go to Central Arizona Community College for 2 years, and then he went to Arizona State, which is crazy for a small town Montana mountain kid, like without a high school baseball team. So like think of that trajectory as a 24-year-old. So he's gonna have some grit and grind on him as he comes into the Rockies system there. I love it. Like the draft is over. I know you guys enjoyed it. You guys had all the pods living up to it. Was it everything you wanted it to be? Just as covering it.
I mean, it's just always so fun. It's one of those things. I thought about that, and I'm like, 20 years in the future, is this like still going to be the same like Christmas-like event where just every moment of it is filled with surprise and excitement? It's still the same. I've been kind of doing this now at this kind of like depth for 3 years, and it's just fun.
Yeah, like you still are giddy about it even after that, and you keep making it better. Like we grinded 2 or 3 years ago on this, and then it got a little bit better last year. Then what you and Mike did this year, like we said earlier, was fantastic. Mike, this was going to be your first time on the draft beat, so to speak, for the BSB. Would you ever do it again?
No, I love it. I was a little out of my depth this year. Next year should be way better, but like especially like round 2 and 3 with Tyler and Luke were just. They just knew everybody, and I was just like, "Who is this guy?" Like, they were just like, it was just like names to me. But yeah, it was really fun, really rewarding. We got we were like day 3, we were the only Rockies, let alone national, really team of guys really working on this. So that's fun.
Yeah, and again, you won't see any other in-depth analysis, so please just support what Tyler did and what Tyler and Mike did all day, all week. Just go retweet the things. That's the easy thing you can do. Like it, comment on it. Twitter loves comments on the stuff. Our Instagram has all the cool graphics too. Go ahead, add to your story, all that. Share it with all the people. Just a lot of work went into what these two did, and throw in Luke in there, what these 3 did this past week. So huge shout out to you all. It wouldn't be a draft pod if we didn't give it a grade. I don't know if I necessarily like the grades because you don't know, right? But you know enough, right, Tyler? Maybe you're the only one that gives a grade after what Mike just said. Like he doesn't even know the names of what was drafted there. Like overall, knowing who the Rockies are and what to expect and who they got with where they got them, blah, 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 blah. What would you grade the Rockies MLB 2024 draft?
Okay, I'm going to do a very quick breakdown to put this into perspective. Day 1 has to be just an A. I'm not going to go ahead and give it an A+. It seems like they had to go overslot to get some guys that affected the rest of the draft. I'm going to give it an A. It's hard to go lower when you think about it. It's like those are the most important players in the class. You kind of have to stick right around there. So day 2 and day 3 I didn't love, but also still decent. So I think I'm going to drop down to a B+ on this draft. That day 2 and day 3 left something to be desired. There's a lot of risk there when those picks should maybe just be a lot of safe guys. But we talked about the command issues. They've got to work through those. So I'm going to go B+. There's some things to be seen. That's really all you can say at this point. We'll see if the Rockies get some more of those really good day 2 picks that they've had in the last few years. So B+.
Maybe has like the fountain of command, and all these guys are going to work out.
Right. That'd be sweet if you go to the lab and they're just like a fountain that all the pitchers just kind of like wash their hands with as they come in. Like, all right, rub this on the shoulder. Sticky stuff, quote. That'd be so much fun. If I ever run an organization, we're gonna get crazy with it. Just so if you want to sell it to me, Dick, we can go from there. All right. Anything else with the good of the cause? I know you guys are exhausted. It is 10:15 on a Tuesday while we watch the 7th inning of the All-Star break, so you kind of know where we were as you listen to this. You guys good?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we are working on some interviews with some of these guys, so we'll keep you updated with that. And as go Rockies, as always, go Rockies and the draft class of 2024. Woo! Thank you for watching and listening. Please check out our link tree for more content.
Hell yeah.
Good stuff. That was